Hi, Jeff Coughlin, scale modelling now. Here's a kit that's been eagerly awaited, the 32nd scale FA-18E Super Hornet from Revell. Boy, it certainly looks like a super kit. And let's get straight inside and check out what we've got. Okay, so let's go around the sprues to start with. I think the first thing to notice is you've got some very nice fine recessed panel line detail, which is great. That's always good to see. Interesting breakdown of parts. Quite a few sub-assemblies, as you would expect for a kit of this size. If it all goes together well, there shouldn't be any problem whatsoever with those, which is brilliant. Some really nice initial detail, lovely rear decking to the cockpit canopy here, lovely little hinges in there. Some nice, what look like canopy rails, which is certainly impressive to look at those details there. Lots of separate control surfaces. You certainly seem to be able to have dropped just about anything you want, which is fab. That's always a good option. Classic centerpiece, a one-piece section here for the upper fuselage. Moulding, as I said, is generally good. There is some flash though on quite a few of the parts, so just keep an eye out for that. Just needs to be removed, of course. No big deal. This is modelling after all. Just as we're going by it, let's have a quick look at the canopy. Canopies are beautifully moulded. That's the single piece rear opening portion, and then of course the front canopy here. There is a thin mould seam line down the top of the canopy, as you get with these bigger models. No big shakes there. That's an easy fix, easy thing. Just check out the SMN Techniques Bank for how to get rid of those. Coming across, you've got clearly you've got options here for slightly offset rudders, which is good. Plenty of internal details going on here. Looks like it's probably a wheel bay by the look of it. And then you've got different sections, undercarriage doors, separate nose. That's going to be useful to add some extra weight. So just need to make sure that you don't have a tail sitter on your hand. Classic cockpit up here, nice, simple, straightforward. These are the E and F, the Twin Seat F are definitely simpler cockpits in that sense. Lots of display panels, multifunction display panels going on there. So it's not surprising that the cockpit is simpler, which is no problem at all. You've got some decals for the different MDFs as well. So that's something to just bear in mind if you want to add those. Undercarriage looks very comprehensive. Again, assuming it all fits together, which I'm sure it will, no issues there whatsoever. That certainly looks nice. The arrestor hook is good. Further details, looks like canopy details, rear view mirrors, that kind of thing as well. So all looking good so far. Let's just come over here. Big slabby sort of intakes on either side. One of the big distinguishing features of the E and F have got those big square intakes rather than the circular or sort of oval shaped earlier intakes for the earlier marks, I should say, of the type. I've just shown you some of the sprues here for the weapons. Goodness me, we've got all sorts going on here. You've got these doubled up big wing tanks. You've got various JDAMs and whatever bombs going on here. You've got open or what look like open and or closed jet exhaust pipes, which is good. Various AIM-9Ms, X's in terms of sidewinders, so that's always good. And then the appropriate rails and so on the left-hand side. So that's all looking good. What else have we got? Let me just move this sprue out of the way and bring in another huge great sprue here. This covers the engine intakes. You've got the big duct in, I should say, all the way down inside the fuselage. It's going to be interesting to see if this all fits. Again, no reason to think not, but just something to pay real attention to make sure you get everything lined up nicely. Very interesting kind of fan blades going on here. Just bring you in and have a look at those. Quite interesting, and quite big. It looks like the inside of the nose wheel gear bay there perhaps. Looks like inside of the, probably inside the wheel bay, probably at the back wall, something like that, that sort. So much detail. It's extraordinary inside this kit. Lots and lots and lots of detail. But it looks good. It looks comprehensive with lots and lots of different options. A quick look at the decal sheet. Wow, check that out. I mean, that's some decal sheet, isn't it? Mostly we've got gunslingers and vampires, squadrons going on here. I think there's a CAG aircraft here as well for the vampires, I think it is. We just check that out when we get to the instructions in a minute. But those certainly look well printed. They look to be in register, and there's some cracking artwork going on here. Love this. Tonight We Ride. It's great, isn't it, with the old gunslingers? And here you've got those lots and lots of stencil details for the weapons, for the airframe. Slime lights going on here. Don't look too bad. Colour on those looks quite reasonable actually, which is good. You've got various displays here. Not so sure about the colours of the bright greens here. They tend to suggest that the displays are actually on. They tend to go a kind of much darker kind of greeny black colour when they're off. So, you know, your choice, but it can add a bit of interest and life to the cockpit if you want to pop those in, which is interesting. So decal sheet certainly looks good, moving that out of the way. And then we're on to the massive instruction book, and it really is an instruction book, this. 64 pages, 150 plus stages to the build. And as you'd expect, it's very comprehensive. Usual Revell paint mixes offered in the front of the book. All the different parts are shown, of course, on the sprues for easy identification. And then you're into the build. Not surprisingly, just about everything builds around the trunking for the intakes, the wheel wells, the main wheel bay wells. Really important, I think, it's going to be to make sure you just get the fit of everything just bang on with these, with a kit like this, because there's lots and lots of separate parts. And I remember, because I built the Academy kits, 32nd scale kits, the Hornets, F-16s, and with all those big kits and these big kits from whatever manufacturer, you just got to make sure you are watertight in terms of your cleaning up and making sure the parts fit exactly. Don't be tempted to rush it and be a bit sloppy with the fit. I'm sure if you follow it to the letter, you shouldn't have any great problem. Very interesting. It's quite interesting looking at the build sequence. It's very reminiscent in some respects of the big Tamir F-15 Eagle, but that's just a passing observation. And then you've got this kind of completed centre section, and onto it you start to bolt the wings, as you can see, and the various details, and all of that's for the main fuselage section. And then you kind of start to come forward, and then you start to build up the cockpit and nose section, which will be a separate part. And as you can see here, that all just slots into place with the main centre section. Options again for the control surfaces, and then you're into some of the more finer details like your undercarriage units, parts, all the rest of it. They do seem pretty straightforward to me. They seem okay, so I'm quite pleased with that. The Hornet's undercarriage is a real beastie, and its design should be such that I'm sure it'll be strong enough to take the weight of the kit. And yeah, I don't think you're going to need too much nose weight. You might not even need any nose weight, but don't take that from me, you know. You have to make your own mind up about it. But I'm sure if you just look at this, if you just look at the centre of gravity here on the Hornet itself, you're talking about the weight forward of the main gear, and there's a lot of nose here sticking forward. So I'm sure just some weight in the nose cone will be sufficient to stop this tail sitting. And on that basis, you can also relieve some of the weight on the undercarriage, rather than going mad and packing the nose and forward section with loads of weight, only to find that wasn't necessary. Love the fact you get the wing fold option. Didn't pick that up when we were going around the sprues, but the fact is that is an option, which is great. Certainly an opportunity to add a little bit of extra interest to the model. And then you start to move into the final kind of stages of construction, and deciding really how you want those control surfaces. Do you want them dropped? Do you want to have them raised? And you're cool with all of it. Lots of different options here for the different weapons, so you can decide, you know, what you want in terms of those different stores. And you certainly get plenty, and I like that. I think that's excellent from Revell. You haven't got to go hunting anywhere else for weapons. You get plenty of choice contained on the sprues. Like the fact you get a nice access ladder. I think that's a good touch. And then you're moving into the very final parts of the build. So there we go. Here are your three, or your different schemes. As I said, you've got that fabulous vampire scheme there. Absolutely love that one. I just think it's really impressive. And that's the evaluation, the Air Test and Evaluation Squadron, VX9 at China Lake, which is interesting in California. But it certainly is an impressive scheme. And then you've got the opportunity to get into one of the operational schemes here, I think it is, or maybe it's another evaluation unit. And there we go again. VX9 again. And then you've got a strike fighter squadron, you've got VFA 105, you've got the gunslingers, which is slightly more toned down, but subtle but impressive nonetheless. I do like that scheme. I think it's impressive. It's going to be a great opportunity to do some of that grey paintwork, you know, that kind of motley type effect you can get on worn US Navy aircraft, grey ones. And then of course you've got all the different markings for your different stores here, AIM-9Ms, X's, AIM-120 AMRAAMs, and so on. And of course you've got the various sort of paveway and JDAMs as well. So, goodness me, what a package. I think it's really impressive, this. I think it looks great. It looks comprehensive. You've got lots of choice. You know, this is a project that's going to certainly keep you busy for a long time, if you want it to. And equally, it looks like it's going to make up into a hugely impressive bit of kit. So there we go. That's the FA-18E. That's the Super Hornet from Revell in 32nd scale.